Hello everyone, it's that teacher here, and today's lesson is going to be on multiplication, level 1. Let's start learning. Let's begin our lesson on multiplication, level 1. So, before we start, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the people who have recently subscribed to the channel. It's so exciting for me to see my subscriber count creep up to that first little milestone of 100 subscribers, so thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed but you viewed the channel, thank you, I appreciate that as well. Let's get started. This definition of multiplication is, in mathematics, multiplication is one of the fundamental operations alongside addition, subtraction, and division, where it entails repeatedly adding groups of equal sizes. So, before we start, level 1 in this program is targeted at students maybe in year 2 who've learned the basics of multiplication and have a general understanding of times tables. So if you're there, this lesson is perfect for you. Now, just a quick little fun one for the students. 2 teachers times 2 teachers is 4 teachers. Let's move on with the lesson. Now, knowing your multiplication chart, your times tables, knowing that is so important when it comes to maths. Like I said, multiplication is one of the main pillars, the umbrella of understanding you need in so many different strands of mathematics. You need it for division, area, the list goes on and on, finance, it goes on and on. Knowing your times tables is so important in school. So I highly recommend that you practice times tables. I found a really cool website, timestables.com. It has all fun interactive games to help learners, young students, learn their times table. So I highly recommend that. Go check that out. It's a free website. That was a cool one I found. Making multiplication into games, the times table charts into games is one of my strategies I use in class, because when it's a game, students learn without knowing they're learning. So I often do this thing called times table challenge in class, where the students race to see who can get through their times tables quickest, and it's so fun and exciting, but they're actually learning and consolidating their understanding of their times tables. So before we get started, it's so important. Keep practicing, even if you have to write it down. Whatever is comfortable for you, ask your parents or someone at home if they have a good method for understanding. This is extremely important. Now, another thing, if you know your 5 times tables, don't spend too much time on it. Move on. If you are if you're having a difficult time with 9s or 11s or 12s or whatever the case may be, practice those times tables. There's no point writing out or repeating the process for the times tables you are comfortable with, 2s, 5s, 10s. If you know that, spend less time on those and work on the ones that are more challenging, okay? That's my tip for you. So, moving on here. Now, as I always say, setting your numbers out neatly is the key to success in maths. It's one of the keys, not the key. It's one of the many factors which will influence students in the class. So set your numbers out in their place values. You can see here, it's so clean, it's so easy. Do not do this. Now, if you do your numbers like this, I've said it in so many videos, I'm gonna keep saying it because people might only see this video for the first time, so that's why I'm repeating it. If you already know this from my previous videos, skip ahead, but this is so important. So many students make this mistake, so I'm trying to stop this from happening. Just writing your numbers neat, you find way more success. So writing your numbers like this, it will lead you to a far higher level of success in all areas of mathematics, no matter what you're doing. Neat numbers are crucial, and your teacher will be absolutely stoked. You'll open the book, oh my God, that's beautiful. Stickers galore, you name it. So neat numbers and you'll succeed, okay? That's just one of my tips. Now, strategy 1 for multiplication. It's the most common method, but we're gonna go through it together. Now, 3 times 8. So you start, we're timesing 28 times 3. We go 3 times 8. Stay in that ones column. So 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24. So that's the answer there. 3, 8, 16, 24. 24. Now, you put the 4, the ones column. Yeah, so the 4 that's in the ones column, in the answer box below. And the 2 goes above the 2. Similar to other subjects, the remainder or the additional 10 that from the 24 needs to go above, okay? So 2 there. Now, what you need to do the next is 3 times 2. Now, 3 times 2 is 6. If you just wrote 6 in your answer box, you would be wrong. because you haven't done anything, you've forgotten about the 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus that 2, because that is 2 10s, okay? That's actually worth 20. So if you forget about that, the answer is wrong. 3 times 2 is 6, plusing the 2 is 8. So that would be 84. Now that's an easy method to do that. Start in the ones, do one set of answers. So 3 times 8, the first set. Once you finish with that, move to the second set and you can easily work that out. If you go anything above 10, so you've gone 20, whatever tens column is remaining, so 24, there's 2 in the tens column, needs to go above that second number, and you need to add it after you've times it, multiplied it in the second sequence. So if you're not sure what I just said, go back, slowly follow it. 3 times 2 is 6, but you need to add that 2, okay? So that's the first strategy. Hopefully that helps. Now, area model is a strategy that I find some of my students utilize in the class. So it's quite helpful. People learn in different ways. This is a cool way for some students to learn. Now, the way to set that table out, because I'm gonna show you how to do it, but the way to set that table out, I tell my students to do noughts and crosses, because they're like, how do I set the table out? If you do noughts and crosses, you've got the boxes there, and in the top left-hand corner, you whack a times table sign, and then you can just work with that, because if you use the area number to solve large numbers, you need more boxes. So do a noughts and crosses grid, put the times, the multiplication symbol in the left-hand top corner, top left-hand corner, and then break the numbers into their place values. So 28, let's start with that. 28, say the number out loud. This is why place value is super important, and number value, knowing your number value and your place values, it helps with so many different subjects. So 28, the first box is 20, 2 in the tens column equals 20, in the ones column or the units column in some classes, it's 8. Now, you need to, so you've got the 20 and the 8, you're finished with 28, you need to add the 3 in the other grey box. Now, what you do in this process is multiply the numbers, but then afterwards we're going to add them. So I'm going to show you. When you work with numbers in their place values, they're easier to multiply. That's why this strategy is effective for some students. So 3 times 20. Now 20, 40, 60, okay? If you're not sure with that, just go 3 times 2, which would be 6, and then add that 0. So that's another little way to work it out, but I prefer the normal way, 20, 40, 60. So that first box is 60. Now, 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24, you know that's 24. After you've done that, you need to make it into an addition algorithm, just like this. And just work through it. This is basic. 0 plus 4, excuse me. 0 plus 4 is 4. 6 plus 2 is 8. So as you can see, the area model is quite an effective method in multiplication. So hopefully either one of those methods helps you. Well, like I said, maths is all about whatever works for you. If you prefer the area model, that's what you need to do. If you prefer just the more algorithm, basic, standard form, stay with that. If your parents or someone at home told you another way that works for you, do that way, okay? Whatever you achieve the most success with, that's what you gotta do. Now, that's the answer. So we're moving on. Now I'm gonna quickly go through this with you, and then I'm gonna give you some questions. So 4 times 6 is 24, put the 4 below and the 2 above. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So that answer is 64. Going to the second question. 7 times 5 is 35. You put the 1, so the 5 in the ones column. So you put the 35, you put that 5 below, and the 3 goes above the 2 in the tens column. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 3 is 17. Now what you need to do, if there's no more numbers after that, your last number, and you land on 17, you just need to write 17. Exactly like that, okay? So if there's no more numbers, you just write the answer you land on. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. No more numbers next to it in the hundreds column, just write 17. Now, 6 times 8 is 48. You put the 8 below and the 4 above the 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Plusing the 4 is 40. Remember, there's no other numbers. You need to just write 40. So that answer is 408. Hopefully that helps you. I'm going to show you quickly how to do the area model in your multiplication now. 16 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. So first of all you need to do is set your numbers out in the table. Remember, noughts and crosses, the multiplication symbol in the top left, and break them into their place values. 16 is broken into 10 and 6, and we're timesing it by 4. So 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 6 is 24. Put it in a addition algorithm. 60 plus 24, 0 plus 4 is 4, 6 plus 2 is 8. Next question, 25 times 7. Make your table. Remember, noughts and crosses, multiplication symbol in the top left. Break it into the place values. 20 in the first box, 5, 25, and then timesing it by 7. So 7 times 20 is 140. So like I said, if you're a bit confused with that, get rid of the 0. 7 times 2 is 14, and then add the 0 back. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 0 you crossed out originally, 140. Easy. Now, 7 times 5 is 35. Put it in a addition algorithm like this, 140 plus 35, starting in the ones column. 0 plus 5 is 5, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 1 plus 0 is 1, so 175. Hopefully those strategies have helped you. Now it's your turn. I've given you some questions here. Like always, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and try and figure out the answers for yourself. Use one of those two strategies or the strategy that you prefer, and I'm going to show you the answers on the next slide. So pause it here if you haven't finished it. Here are the answers. So I've only done the algorithm form, the standard strategy one in the answers here, but if you did the area model and you got the same answers, fantastic, okay? To be honest, I couldn't fit it in the slide. So I wanted to, but I couldn't fit it all in the slide. That's why I've done the algorithm form here, strategy one. So if you landed on the correct answer when you did the area model, well done. Thank you so much for coming to the lesson. That's multiplication level 1. Multiplication level 2 will be coming out in a few days. That involves numbers 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, which is a little step above this. So hopefully I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you for coming. It's That Teacher. We'll see you next time.